guys, I got many questions about Sweden as an international student under my first vlog, so here it is. Let's dive right into what I wish I knew before I begin my Swedish adventure. I'm going to divide it into two parts. First, facts to consider before you apply, and second, what to note as an international student. Hold up, before we jump in, let me clarify. This is not a Swedish University Application 101. We are here to dish out the real talk and the nitty-gritty stuff. With that noted, let's roll. Okay, first off, getting legal in Sweden. Yeah, you need a residence permit, not just passport with cute sticker on it. Not even you got a short-term visa exemption. You apply it from Migrationsverket, then leave biometrics and collect a card in your local embassy or consulate. That will be your visa to go through the customs. Now let's talk about the magical number, personal number, or the personal number. It is the golden ticket to your life in Sweden, and it entitles you to apply for an ID card. With that, you can further apply for the bank ID, the identity verification that allows you to get more public service and live an easy life with Swish or signing contract digitally, etc. However, it is issued to residents staying for more than 1 year. If you only study 1 or less academic year in Sweden, like I did, unfortunately, this would cause tons of inconvenience. Without the personal number, I'm not even able to join the IKEA club or place an online order from grocery stores or a pharmacy. Also, it is super annoying to apply for a bank account without a personal number. It took nearly half a year for me to only get the decline for SEB to become their customer as a preliminary step to open a bank account. And my appeal was not taken care of for 4 months. Part 2. Navigating life as an international student. Let's talk about the ultimate challenge, finding a cozy corner in the capital of Scandinavia if you study in Stockholm. It is hard and even more expensive than in Beijing. But calm down. As a student, you got big advantage. Some types of student accommodation includes studio, corridor, apartment, or shared houses with other students or the landlord. If you're a fee-paying student like me, which means you're probably not from the EU or the EEA, then you might be offered an accommodation from the university, or at least KTH has that. Otherwise, seek accommodation from the official platforms, individual landlords, or sublet. TrueSB is the most widely used student accommodation website with thousands of unfurnished corridors, studios, or apartments. There's also another one for doctoral students, and there are many emerging ones. Bostadsförmedlingen is the official housing platform for all Swedish citizens, mostly studios and apartments. For these platforms, priority is determined by the queue days, which means the longer you are registered in the queue, the more likely you will get your preferred housing. You will be able to get a nice corridor from TrueSB with just a few months of queue days. So register by the time you accept the offer from the university, and that should be enough. However, Bostadsförmedlingen is a completely different story. Since there are short-term accommodation allows the residents to preserve their queue days, I've seen applicants queuing from the 90s. Therefore, I strongly suggest you to register in the queue as early as possible if you plan to stay after your graduation. Apart from this, you can of course rent houses from individual landlords or sublet. There are many online platforms has such information such as Blocket. You can also find a lot of posts on Facebook groups. Just be really careful about fraud. It does happen a lot. Second, about shopping. Congratulations on your roof! And you're finally starting a little life here. But wait a second, before you get your first cup of coffee, I would like to remind you that this is a proper cash-free society, at least in Stockholm. The only places I know that accept cash are grocery stores and vendors at the fair. But it's also not like in China, where mobile payment is everywhere. Swish and card are equally important here. Swish is the Swedish version of Alipay or Apple Pay in Sweden. Before you get it, card payment is still your best friend. Just make sure your card bleeds or has a chip. Third, language. Don't worry if the Swedish language looks weird or it sounds like singing. It is very hard to learn Swedish in the sense that almost every Swede speaks nearly perfect English. Anyway, schools like KTH offer Swedish courses, and you can also take the intensive sessions with SFI, which is Swedish for Immigrants, if you have a personal number. And there are also many other options. Otherwise, from a very limited experience, the most Swedish sentence goes as for healthcare. I assume the healthcare system in Sweden is somehow like other European countries. But the general point is it is not encouraged to seek treatment from the hospital unless it's really severe. Luckily, I have a personal experience for you. So, in short, I cut my finger and it bleeds badly. I called a healthcare advice hotline and the queue is like 50 people waiting in front of me, so I turned to the emergency line. They kindly tell me to press the wound and go to the Karolinska hospital. So after 15 minutes of running and missing the bus and then redirected by the Karolinska CER, I arrived at the Narakut. After another hour of waiting, I finally met my doctor and got the bandages. And 2 months later, I finally got my insurance covered. However, my wound still looks weird and it hurts. As for vaccination, I got 3 shots of TBE and 1 shot for COVID. Many clinics or pharmacies offers vaccination. I first went to the one near KTH, of course, because I checked their price and it's quite low compared to others. But unfortunately, I walked around, didn't see anyone inside, and I couldn't manage to open their doors, so I turned to Apotea. In any case, make sure you visit their website or contact them in advance to learn about the appointment rules. Finally, student life. Exciting! You know, student has a lot of nightlife, but I'm not a night animal, so I'm just gonna tell you what I know. First of all, a student union has many branches called chapter. It's kind of related to which school you are in, but not exactly the same. Each chapter has their own chapter hall, like a gathering room around the campus. And all of them has their own OV, which is like a uniform in their chapter's color. Second, Swedes like drinking. And I assume that's part of the reason why there's harsh control on the sale of alcohol in Sweden. Anyhow, there's alcohol in nearly every student event, and one of the biggest one is a sipning or gask, which is like a fancy dinner party where everyone is in their nice dresses or clothes and sing and drink a lot along with the dinner. Each chapter has a songbook with specific lyrics, but the melody can be shared by many chapters or just directly taken from the famous songs. Now it's right during the reception period, and you might have heard about many Nolan Gasp as a welcome party to the new students. The more casual setting, there's a weekly pub in each chapter hall or in a student union's building. There are also themed parties called tent above after each exams, so 4 times in a year, happening in a student union. Usually there are long queues of students waiting to get in. The last but not least interesting thing is the Specs. It's basically a improv comedy musical. Each chapter and even the student union has their own Specs and the whole Specs crew, managing from the music production to managing and running the theater. Audience can order the actors and actresses to do everything, which is hilarious. Apart from the fun things, there are a lot to note if you want to work in Sweden. First, experience is super important. Not necessarily from the industry you want to pursue a career in, though. Now, summer is the best time for internship since a lot of employees take their vacation in this time. But also, there's opportunity to work part-time along with your study. Second, timing. A lot of companies recruit half to 1 year ahead of time to better arrange the recruitment and onboarding. So now is the time to apply for a job starting next September. Third, networking. If you're unlucky like me that only study 1 year in Sweden and don't have any opportunity for summer internships, etc., that would be super important to meet the company in every event you can. Armada by THS is the biggest career fair in Scandinavia, and there are many specific career fairs held by each school or chapter. Just notice that the career fair here is different from the other part of the world. The staff don't take any CV or conduct interviews during the fair, but there is company meetings that you should register as early as possible. There you will meet one or more company representatives for around 50 minutes to know about each other and hopefully make impressions. Other than that, there are also many company events that you can find on their website or the Facebook groups, probably for your chapter. And finally, if you haven't secured a job by graduation yet, make sure you apply for the residence permit extension as early as possible, even if it requires the proof of graduation. I was worried about the proof, so I only applied when my thesis is about to finish, which is 3 weeks before my permit expired. And it took 3 months for them to process my case, asking 3 times for the same materials. So keep in mind, apply for anything as early as possible, because by the time they come to you for the supplementary materials, you will probably already get your graduation certificate. Well, that's all I want to tell you today. It's only part of my experience, but they are the most important ones I can think of. Learn more and get more preparation. I wish you good luck. Bye!